The vast expanse of space stretched endlessly beyond the bridge of the Empire's flagship, Dreadnought Zirian. Hundreds of blinking consoles lit the room in cold blue light. Officers moved swiftly, their eyes glued to the holographic scanners. Outside, the stars sparkled like diamonds scattered across black velvet, completely unaware of the tension building inside this warship. Commander Vorlax, a tall alien with sharp features and glowing yellow eyes, leaned over the main console. His claws tapped impatiently against the cold metal. "Run the scanners again," he ordered. "I want absolute confirmation." The officers followed his orders with precision. The hum of machinery filled the room. Every screen flickered, recalibrating sensors and rechecking the vast star sectors surrounding the Empire. Vorlax's jaw tightened. His gut told him something was wrong, something impossible. The scanners beeped, and a red blip appeared on the main display. Impossible. Vorlax froze. He leaned closer, studying the holographic image. It was small, almost insignificant, but its trajectory, it was headed straight into Imperial space. And the shape, "It's a human warship," whispered Lieutenant Cora, her eyes wide. The bridge fell silent. Every officer turned toward her, shocked. Humans? Here? Humans were primitive. Everyone in the Empire knew this. They had no advanced warships, no fleets capable of interstellar travel, and certainly no technology to challenge the Empire. Yet there it was. "Check it again," Vorlax barked, his voice low and sharp. "Scan every sector it could have come from." The officers obeyed. Every scan, every frequency, every data feed confirmed the same result. There was no mistake, no glitch. A human warship had entered the Empire. The bridge buzzed with murmurs. Some officers looked pale under their scales. Others whispered prayers to the great ancestors, hoping it was some illusion. But the red blip remained, moving steadily closer. "This can't be real," muttered Cora. "They are not supposed to have ships like this. They barely even travel beyond their own system." Vorlax's claws dug into the console. "It doesn't matter what they are supposed to have. They are here. And that means one thing. We cannot underestimate them. The human warship, though small compared to the Empire's massive vessels, radiated an aura of confidence. It moved steadily through space, ignoring the vast patrol routes, ignoring the detection arrays, moving as if it belonged. The first question no one dared to speak aloud finally broke the silence. Why? Why would humans come here? What do they want? Was this a scouting mission? A trap? Or something even more dangerous? Vorlax tapped a sequence into his console. A larger hologram flickered to life, showing the human warship in detail. It was crude by Imperial standards, angular, small, simple, but there was something unsettling about it. The ship did not shake under scanners. It did not hide. It moved with purpose. Lieutenant Cora frowned. It's like they know exactly where to go, like they planned this. Vorlax's eyes narrowed. "Humans are unpredictable," he said. "They are weak, but they are clever. That's what makes them dangerous." The bridge door hissed open, and Admiral Tavern entered. His presence silenced the murmurs immediately. Tavern was known throughout the Empire for his sharp mind and ruthless efficiency. He studied the scanners, then looked at Vorlax. "This is not a drill?" Tavern asked. "No," Vorlax replied. "It's real. A human warship is inside Imperial space." The Admiral's antennae twitched nervously. "We thought humans were primitive. We thought they could not even reach the outer systems. And now this? Bold, reckless, or brilliant? We need to know which." Vorlax gestured to the main screen. "They are heading toward our patrol sector, near the Zephyron cluster. If they reach it, they will be inside core space in hours." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Hours? That was far too little time to prepare. The human ship was fast, smarter than they expected. Tavern's eyes narrowed. "Prepare the intercept fleet. Full combat readiness. And send probes everywhere. I want to know if this is just one ship or more." Vorlax nodded. "It's already too late. We have to act now." As the order spread through the ship, alarms blared. The hum of the dreadnought intensified. Vorlax stared at the scanner again, studying every movement of the human ship. The The more he watched, the more he realized something terrifying. The humans were not just entering Imperial space. They were defying it. Suddenly, the human ship changed course. It veered slightly, weaving between asteroid fields and cosmic debris. Every move was calculated, precise. It avoided patrols, moved through blind spots, and still kept a steady trajectory toward the Empire's inner systems. Cora gasped. It's like they are playing a game. Vorlax's claws gripped the console. A deadly game, he said. And we are the pieces. Minutes stretched into tense hours. The scanners tracked the human ship's approach. Officers murmured predictions. Where it would go next, what it might do. But no one could guess. Each movement of the human ship was unpredictable, clever, almost impossible. Vorlax finally spoke, his voice low and commanding. Prepare a team. I will board a scout vessel and observe them directly. I need eyes on this human ship before we make any decisions. Cora's jaw tightened. Are you sure, Commander? It could be a trap. Vorlax did not answer immediately. He studied the approaching ship, his mind racing through possibilities. Finally, he said, if this is a trap, we will be ready. If it's a challenge, we will learn what humans are capable of. The scout vessel was ready within minutes. Sleek, fast, armed with the latest sensors, it detached from the dreadnought and moved toward the human ship. Vorlax stood at the bridge of the scout, watching intently as the small vessel approached. From a distance, the human ship looked almost insignificant. But as it came closer, Vorlax noticed the subtle details. The way it absorbed energy from nearby stars, the silent efficiency of its engines, the precision in its maneuvers. It was not reckless. It was confident. Vorlax's antennae twitched with a mixture of fear and fascination. They are not what we expected, he muttered. They are something else. Inside the dreadnought, the crew watched a live feed from the scout vessel. The human ship was calm, silent, and moving steadily toward Imperial space. No weapons fired, no signal sent, nothing but sheer purpose. Cora's voice was barely a whisper. It's almost like they know we are watching. Vorlax turned to her, eyes narrowed. Humans are clever. They learn quickly. They adapt. They will exploit every weakness we have. And right now, we are weak in ways we do not even understand. The human ship passed through the Zephyron cluster. The cluster was known for its dense asteroid fields and energy storms. Many Imperial ships had been damaged attempting to patrol here. But the human ship navigated flawlessly, twisting and dodging, never slowing. Vorlax clenched his claws. It's impossible. No human should be able to survive that. Yet here they are. Suddenly, the human ship emitted a pulse of energy. Sensors on the scout flickered, and the vessel was momentarily blinded. The crew gasped. The pulse was not destructive, but it scrambled the scanners, leaving them blind for a few heart-stopping seconds. When the sensors came back online, the human ship had vanished. Vorlax's heart raced. Where did it go? Cora pointed. To the scanner. It's inside our perimeter. Somehow, it jumped past all defenses without detection. A hush fell over the bridge. Every officer realized the truth. The humans were not only advanced, they were unpredictable and terrifying. Tavern's antennae twitched furiously. We have underestimated them for too long. Now we are paying the price. Vorlax stared at the scanner, knowing this was only the beginning. One human ship had entered the Empire. One. And yet, the implications were staggering. What if more came? What if this small, seemingly weak species was capable of more than anyone imagined? He took a deep breath. The unexpected had become reality. The Empire had faced countless threats before, but nothing like this. Nothing had prepared them for humans. Outside, the stars continued to shimmer, indifferent to the chaos unfolding within the Empire's warships. And somewhere, the human ship moved silently, confident, daring, and entirely unknown. Vorlax whispered to himself, "This changes everything." The bridge was tense, alive with fear, curiosity, and excitement. For the first time in centuries, the Empire realized it could be facing a threat it had never imagined. And the humans had just shown the first move. The scanners blinked again. And impossible was now reality. The dreadnought Zirian was alive with tension. Every officer, from the lowest-rated scanner technician to Admiral Tavern himself, had eyes glued to the main screen. Outside, the void of space stretched endlessly, but the human warship, the one impossible ship, was no longer just a blip. It was moving with intent, and its path was precise. Commander Vorlax tapped a claw against the console, his mind racing. "They are heading straight for patrol fleet," he muttered. "We have to intercept." Lieutenant Chorus' antennae twitched nervously. "Intercept? Commander, we have never fought humans before. They are small, weak. What can they do against an Imperial fleet?" Vorlax did not answer immediately. He watched the approaching ship carefully. "It is not their size that makes them dangerous," he said finally. "It is their mind and their courage. Humans do things we cannot predict because they do not fear impossible odds." Outside, the patrol fleet of the Empire was scattered in formation, unaware of how close the human ship had come. These were the best ships of the Zephyron cluster, armed with plasma turrets, shield arrays, and advanced tracking systems. In theory, one human ship could not survive an encounter. In theory, the human vessel moved like a shadow among the stars. It avoided patrols, slipped past scanners, and then, almost casually, altered its course. Vorlax frowned. The ship was moving in a pattern, almost playful, almost teasing, but deliberate. "Prepare the interceptors," Vorlax ordered. "I want a scout team ahead of the main fleet. Track it, but do not engage until I give the order." A small squad of sleek Imperial scouts detached from the main ships, engines flaring. Vorlax observed as they approached the human vessel, sensors scanning every detail. But something strange happened. The human ship, small and unassuming, did not flee. It did not hide. It rotated, pivoted, and then accelerated, not erratically but with precision. The scouts tried to close in, but their scanners became confused. Every time a scout approached, the human ship seemed to vanish from detection, then reappear at a different angle, closer to the center of the fleet. "Impossible," muttered Cora. "It's predicting our moves before we even make them." Vorlax's claws tightened around the console. "Humans do not think like us," he said grimly. "They anticipate patterns and exploit them. It's not magic, it's instinct. And it is terrifying." The human ship glided silently into the heart of the patrol formation. Alarms blared across the Imperial fleet. The patrol ship scrambled to adjust, trying to focus weapons and shields, but the human ship did not engage directly. It moved in and out of scanner range, testing reactions, analyzing the defenses of each ship. Admiral Tavern's voice cut through the bridge speakers, sharp and commanding. "Fire at will. Target that human. It cannot escape us all." The fleet unleashed a barrage of plasma bursts, converging on a human ship's last known position. But when the energy storm cleared, the human ship was gone. Silence fell over the scanners. It disappeared," whispered Lieutenant Cora. Vorlax's antennae twitched in alarm. "No, it's not gone. It's elsewhere. They are not slow. They are fast and smart. Every move they make confuses us, splits our focus, and reveals our weaknesses." The human ship reappeared, this time closer to command cruiser of the patrol fleet. The alien officers aboard the cruiser gasped as it maneuvered with lightning speed, moving between energy shields and turret arcs with impossible precision. One plasma burst grazed its hull, but the ship did not falter. It pivoted, accelerated, and then seemed to analyze the next target. "Are they calculating everything?" Cora stammered. Vorlax's jaw tightened. "Yes, and they are learning faster than we can adapt. Every engagement gives them information. They do not have our firepower, but they have our patterns." The human ship struck next. It was not an attack in the conventional sense. Instead, it used a precise electromagnetic pulse to temporarily blind several ships in the patrol fleet. Sensors flickered, shields wavered, and chaos spread. For a few terrifying moments, the Empire's best ships were blind and vulnerable, while the human vessel moved freely among them. "This is not combat as we know it," muttered Tavern, voice low with shock. "They are playing us." Vorlax's eyes narrowed. He leaned closer to the console, scanning the human ship's every move. It was using small asteroid fragments, magnetic fields, and subtle gravitational shifts to its advantage, things no Imperial officer would consider. Every action was minimal, but the effect was devastating. The patrol fleet's cohesion was falling apart, not because of brute force, but because the human ship forced mistakes. The human ship did not fire its main weapons. There were no massive energy blasts, no destructive lasers. And yet, the patrol fleet was paralyzed. Shields flickered, ships collided, and communication lines jammed. "Unbelievable," whispered Cora. It's defeating us without even fighting." Vorlax turned to her, voice calm but dangerous. "Humans are unpredictable. They do not rely on technology alone. They rely on creativity, improvisation, and courage. They see opportunities where we see limits. That is why we fear them." The patrol fleet attempted to regroup. Smaller squadrons formed defensive perimeters. Plasma turrets recalibrated, and shield matrices were reinforced. But the human ship anticipated these moves, slipping through gaps before they could close. Every defensive measure the Empire tried was countered subtly, almost effortlessly. Finally, the human ship paused. It hovered silently in the middle of the disrupted fleet, almost taunting. The officers aboard the Imperial ship stared in disbelief. How could a single human ship cause so much chaos? Vorlax clenched his claws. "We must not underestimate them," he said. "They are not here by accident. They are here to test us, to see what we are capable of, or to show us what they are capable of." Cora's eyes widened. Do we attack directly?" Vorlax shook his head. "Not yet. Direct engagement will only play into their strength. Observe, learn, and wait for the right moment. Humans make mistakes too, but only if we force them." The human ship shifted course again, disappearing behind a massive asteroid field. The patrol fleet struggled to follow, sensors flickering as the vessel moved unpredictably through debris and gravitational anomalies. Vorlax's antennae twitched with irritation. "They are learning," he muttered, "and every move they make tells them about us. They are reading our weaknesses, and they will strike where it hurts most." Minutes stretched into tense hours. Every movement of the human ship was calculated, precise, and unnerving. Imperial officers whispered theories. It was not technology alone that gave the human ship its edge. It was intelligence, cunning, and an almost fearless confidence. Admiral Tavrin finally spoke. "Prepare the dreadnought. If the human ship is here to challenge us, then we will not falter. But I admit, I have never seen such strategy in a species so small." Vorlax's eyes flicked back to the scanner. The human ship reappeared, now directly above the command cruiser of the patrol fleet. For a moment, it was visible in all its simplicity. Angular, minimal, seemingly fragile. And yet, every officer aboard the cruiser felt a sense of dread. "They are waiting for what?" Cora whispered. Vorlax did not answer. He knew. The human ship was not just here to explore. It was here to test, challenge, and exploit. And the Empire had never faced an opponent like this. Suddenly, the human ship sent a signal, a simple, unencrypted pulse that radiated across all nearby ships. It was not a threat. It was not a demand. It was a message. And yet, it filled every officer with unease. Vorlax stared at the display. "It's communicating without words," he muttered. "They are showing us. They are aware of us. They are unafraid." Cora's antennae twitched nervously. They're human." Vorlax nodded slowly. "Yes, and that is why we are in danger. They do not fight like us. They do not obey patterns. They do not fear the impossible. And if we do not adapt, even one ship like this could change the course of the Empire." The patrol fleet regrouped, but every move was second-guessed. Every plan was countered before it could take effect. The human ship, though small, was rewriting the rules of engagement. Imperial officers were forced to rethink strategy in real time, improvising to keep up. Hours passed. The human ship had not fired a single destructive weapon, yet the Empire's patrol fleet was in disarray. Vorlax knew one thing with certainty. Humans were not just strong. They were clever, fearless, and utterly unpredictable. And the unexpected turning point had only just begun. The stars outside continue to shine, indifferent to the chaos and fear building inside the Empire's fleet. Somewhere, the human ship drifted silently, studying, observing, preparing for the next move. And the Empire, the mighty, proud Empire, realized for the first time that it might have underestimated a species it had always considered weak. Vorlax leaned over the console one last time. His voice was quiet, almost a whisper. This is no longer a test. It is a warning. Humans are here, and they will change everything. The dreadnought Zirian thrummed with restless energy. Every officer on the bridge felt it. The tension, the uncertainty, the slow-burning fear that had gripped the Empire ever since the human ship had entered their territory. Commander Vorlax stared at the main display, his claws tapping in irregular rhythm against the console. The humans were not merely surviving. They were learning. They are faster than we predicted, Lieutenant Cora said quietly. Faster and smarter. Each maneuver they make seems designed to confuse us. It's like they know our thoughts before we think them. Vorlax did not answer immediately. His eyes followed the blip of the human ship, moving gracefully through the Zephyron cluster. It darted through asteroid fields, hugged the gravitational curves of minor planets, and disappeared behind cosmic debris, only to reappear where no sensor could have predicted. The patrol fleet was still recovering from its previous disarray. One thing was painfully clear. Humans did not follow the rules of war. They are exploiting our patterns, Vorlax finally said, his voice low and steady. Every time we react, they adapt. Every formation we make, they find a flaw, and every attempt to trap them fails. On the screen, the human ship shifted course again. It moved between two massive gas clouds, invisible to most scanners, and emerged on the far side, perfectly positioned to observe the fleet without being detected. The officers aboard the dreadnought gasped. How are they doing this? Cora whispered. There's no way they can calculate our formations so perfectly. Vorlax's jaw tightened. It's instinct. Humans have instincts we do not understand. They do not just calculate, they anticipate, improvise, and exploit. Meanwhile, the human ship executed a subtle, nearly invisible move. It released a series of microdrones, tiny devices that scuttled across the void. They were not weapons in the traditional sense. They did not fire plasma, missiles, or lasers, but they interfered with sensors, scrambled communications, and created phantom blips across the fleet scanners. Multiple targets detected, shouted a junior officer aboard the Zirian. Wait, no, false readings. They're everywhere. Vorlax's antennae twitched furiously. Clever, he muttered. They do not attack directly. They manipulate our systems. They make us fight ghosts. Cora's eyes widened. It's psychological warfare. They are making us doubt what we see, what we know, and we are falling for it. Yes, Vorlax said, leaning closer to the console, and this is just the beginning. Humans do not rely solely on firepower. They rely on unpredictability, ingenuity, and the fear they create, and we are already feeling it. The human ship moved again, this time toward a group of smaller patrol cruisers. Without warning, it emitted another pulse of energy. The cruiser's shields flickered, engines shuddered, and their weapons misfired. In a blink, the human ship vanished from sensors, only to reappear behind the group. One by one, the cruisers were forced to break formation, their coordination shattered. Admiral Tavrin slammed his clawed hand onto the console. We have faced rebels, pirates, even enemy fleets. Never have I seen a single ship dismantle our formations without firing a weapon. Vorlax nodded grimly. Humans are not just ships. They are minds, and their tactics are not easy to predict. Every action is a test. Every move reveals our weaknesses. The human vessel now moved in ways that confounded the Empire's most advanced navigational AI. It glided close to massive asteroids, using their gravitational pull to accelerate unpredictably, only to vanish from the patrol fleet's targeting systems entirely. They are rewriting the rules, Cora whispered. This is not conventional battle. Yes, Vorlax said. It is unseen warfare. They attack without striking, manipulate without touching, and win without firing. The dreadnought deployed additional scouts, hoping to corner the human ship. Dozens of small vessels scattered across the area, creating a net of sensors and weapons. But the human ship anticipated every movement. It threaded through the net effortlessly, moving along trajectories the scouts had not calculated. Scanners report. "Interference," shouted a junior officer. "Our own vessels are detecting each other as targets." Vorlax's eyes narrowed. "They are turning our strength into confusion. Every ship we send to trap them strengthens them. They make us doubt ourselves. That is their power." The human ship now appeared near the center of the fleet. It hovered, almost playfully, as if daring the Empire to respond. Then it struck, not with lasers or plasma, but with electromagnetic bursts that overloaded shields in short bursts. Ships lurched violently. Shields flickered, and communications were scrambled again. For the first time, officers aboard the Zirian began whispering, uncertain of their own orders. "This is chaos," Cora said, "and we are powerless to stop it." Vorlax leaned forward, eyes sharp. "We are not powerless. We are learning. Observe, adapt, and strike, but carefully. They will not stay predictable for long. Humans are opportunists. They wait for the perfect moment." The human ship released another set of microdrones, this time closer to the dreadnought itself. Sensors reported dozens of additional contacts, but when the fleet scanned the area, nothing tangible appeared. The human ship had created illusions, forcing the Empire to waste energy, resources, and attention. "Commander," a young officer said nervously, "they are manipulating reality. Our scanners cannot trust what they see." Vorlax's claws dug into the console. "Exactly. Humans do not fight like us. They make us question everything we know. That is their strength. That is why even one ship can challenge an entire fleet." Admiral Tavern growled, "We cannot allow this. If humans can dismantle our patrol fleet without firing a weapon, what will they do to the main fleet?" Vorlax's eyes glinted. "We will see soon enough. And we must be ready. Humans test weaknesses, and they do not stop until they find them. Every move they make is designed to probe us, measure us, and exploit us." The human ship now moved between two massive gravity wells, invisible to most sensors. It emerged directly above a command cruiser, its shadow casting across the hull like a phantom. The crew of the cruiser scrambled, their sensors overloaded, their weapons misaligned. The human ship hovered silently, radiating confidence and patience. "They are waiting," Cora whispered. "For what?" Vorlax did not answer. He knew the humans were not reckless. They were calculating, observing, and preparing to strike where it would hurt the Empire most. The dreadnought Zirian tried a direct approach. Sensors locked on the human ship, weapons primed. But every prediction, every calculation, every attempt to corner it failed. The ship anticipated their moves, slipping away with ease. "They are adapting faster than we can plan," Cora said, awe and fear mixed in her voice. "Every move we make, they are countering it before we even act." Vorlax's jaw tightened. That is the nature humans. They improvise, they exploit, and they do not fear impossible odds. One ship against an Empire fleet, and they are winning without firing a shot. Hours passed. The human ship moved like a shadow, unseen but omnipresent, forcing the Empire to react constantly. Every formation broke, every plan faltered, and every officer felt the creeping dread of being outmatched, not by firepower, but by mind and instinct. Finally, the human ship paused. It hovered silently above the Zephyron cluster, a small dot against the vastness of space. It did not attack. It did not retreat. It simply waited, observing the chaos it had created. Vorlax exhaled slowly. "We have underestimated humans for too long. They are clever, fearless, and unpredictable. And this is only the beginning. One ship has turned our fleet into disarray. Imagine if there were more." Cora nodded. "It's like they are teaching us a lesson without even touching us." "Yes," Vorlax said quietly. "And that lesson is simple. Never underestimate a human." The stars continued to shine, indifferent to the chaos below. Somewhere, the human ship drifted silently, observing, learning, and waiting. The Empire had never faced an enemy like this. And every officer aboard the dreadnought realized the truth. Humans were unseen, unstoppable, and utterly unique. Vorlax tapped the console, sending orders to track the ship continuously. "We will learn from this," he said. "We will adapt, but we must never forget. Humans fight in ways we cannot predict. And every time we try to understand them, they change the rules." The human ship moved again, almost imperceptibly, disappearing into the asteroid field. But the impact it had left was clear. The Empire's fleet was shaken, confused, and forced to rethink everything they knew about war. And Vorlax understood, with a sinking certainty, that the humans were not just visitors. They were a challenge, one that could change the fate of the Empire forever. The tension aboard the dreadnought Zirian was palpable. Every officer moved like a ghost, silently anticipating the next move of the human ship. Commander Vorlax had studied the intruder for hours, and one thought dominated his mind. Humans were not what they seemed. They were clever, unpredictable, and utterly fearless. "They have reached the outer rim of the fleet," Lieutenant Cora reported, her voice barely above a whisper. "Sensors indicate they are preparing to engage, or at least to provoke us." Vorlax's antennae twitched. "Prepare all weapons. Shields at maximum. We do not know what they are capable of. This is no longer observation. This is survival." The human ship had remained silent, drifting near a cluster of rocky asteroids. Its angular hull shimmered faintly under the distant light of a dying star. It was small, almost fragile, but its movement suggested precision, awareness, and confidence. Then suddenly it struck, not with energy beams, not with missiles, but with strategy. The first Imperial cruiser fired, plasma cannons screaming through the void. But the human ship did not dodge in a normal pattern. It weaved through gravitational anomalies, using the pull of nearby asteroids to accelerate unpredictably. The plasma bolts missed, streaking past harmlessly. One bolt ricocheted off an asteroid, narrowly hitting a patrol ship, but the human ship remained untouched. "Impossible," Cora whispered. "How are they moving so fast?" Vorlax gritted his teeth. "It's not just speed, it's anticipation. They are calculating trajectories faster than our systems can track. Every move they make is designed to exploit our weaknesses." The human ship released a cloud of microdrones. Dozens of tiny metallic spiders scurried through the void, emitting interference pulses. Imperial sensors picked them up, but every time they attempted to target the drones, the humans shifted course. Soon, multiple ships in the patrol fleet were firing at empty space. Shields strained, energy wasted. "They are turning our own fire against us," muttered an officer. "This is genius." Vorlax's claws dug into the console. "It is more than genius. It is instinct, creativity, and courage combined, and it is terrifying." The human ship now maneuvered behind the dreadnought's flank. It moved almost imperceptibly, but Vorlax noticed the effect immediately. Minor disruptions in the fleet's shield grids. Energy levels fluctuated, shields faltered, and several smaller cruisers lost synchrony with the formation. "They are probing," Vorlax said. "Every move is a test. Every strike reveals a weakness." Cora's antennae twitched nervously. "Commander, should we counterattack directly?" Vorlax shook his head. "No. Direct engagement plays into their strength. They do not need massive weapons. They need patience and observation. Let them reveal themselves fully." The human ship released another pulse, this one stronger, targeted, and disruptive. It temporarily blinded the scanners of multiple cruisers. Weapons misfired, shields dropped, and communication lines jittered with interference. The fleet struggled to reorganize, but the human ship had already moved to another position, waiting silently like predator. Admiral Tavrin's voice cut through the tension. "We cannot allow them to dictate the pace. All units, form a blockade. Trap that ship. It must not reach the inner systems." The fleet shifted, massive ships creating a semicircle around the human vessel. Plasma cannons bristled, turrets aimed. Every officer held their breath. But the human ship simply hovered, analyzing, observing, and calculating. Then, in an instant, it struck again. It moved through gravitational pull and asteroid belt, using every piece of debris as cover. One cruiser fired directly, only to have a shot deflected by a small rock that the human ship had intentionally positioned. Another cruiser attempted a flanking maneuver, But the human ship anticipated the path, accelerating and reappearing behind a different cruiser. "Do you see this?" Cora exclaimed. "It's not just dodging. They're using our attacks against us. It's tactical genius." Vorlax's eyes narrowed. "And yet, they have not fired a single destructive weapon yet. They are winning with mind and strategy alone. This is a lesson in patience, discipline, and fearlessness." The human ship now made a bold move. It split its attention between two target cruisers, releasing electromagnetic pulses that temporarily shut down engines. One cruiser drifted helplessly, shields failing, while another was forced to divert its trajectory to avoid collision. Within seconds, the patrol fleet was in disarray, scrambling to regroup. "They are dismantling our formations without even touching us." Cora gasped. Vorlax leaned over the console. "This is not combat as we know it. Humans fight differently. They exploit, adapt, and strike in ways that we cannot predict. And the more we fight them conventionally, the more they benefit." The human ship paused again, silently hovering near the center of the disrupted fleet. Then it released a series of micro-EMP pulses, causing minor malfunctions across multiple ships. Shields flickered, sensors glitched, and one patrol cruiser's engines temporarily failed. Imperial officers scrambled, trying to restore order, but every attempt was countered subtly by the human ship. "It's like they are dancing through our defenses," Cora whispered. "Every move we make, they anticipate." Vorlax's jaw tightened. "Yes, and they are teaching us a lesson we were never prepared to learn. Fearlessness, ingenuity, and unpredictability can defeat brute force. One human ship has already shown that. Imagine what a fleet could do." The dreadnought deployed additional interceptors, hoping to corner the human ship, but the humans anticipated these moves as well. Using the asteroid field and gravitational anomalies, they maneuvered between patrol ships with perfect timing, causing the interceptors to misalign and collide. Several minor ships were damaged, but the human ship remained untouched. "They are not just clever, they are fearless," Cora said quietly. "Every move is deliberate, precise, and terrifying." Vorlax nodded grimly. "Fearlessness is dangerous, especially in a species we have always underestimated. The humans are not reckless. They are calculating. Every action is designed to expose our weaknesses." Suddenly, the human ship launched another wave of microdrones, this time directly at the dreadnought itself. They swarmed around the ship, sending pulses that interfered with navigation systems. Vorlax watched as minor systems flickered, shields oscillated, and communications jittered. The dreadnought shuddered, responding to the subtle manipulations of a ship far smaller than itself. "They're using our size against us," Vorlax muttered. "They know we rely on formations, on overwhelming firepower, on rules, and they exploit every rule we follow." The human ship now positioned itself strategically near the Zephyron cluster's central gravity well. From this vantage point, it could observe, plan, and strike where it would hurt the most. Imperial officers realized that the humans were not attacking out of aggression. They were probing, testing, and learning. Every engagement provided them with information. Every mistake the Empire made was noted, recorded, and exploited. Cora's voice was tense. "Commander, what do we do next? How do we fight something like this?" Vorlax's antennae twitched. "We observe. We adapt. And when the right moment comes, we strike with everything we have. But we must not underestimate them. Not now, not ever. Humans do not fight like us. They fight differently, and that difference is deadly." The human ship moved again, slipping through the fleet's perimeter with ease. It hovered, then accelerated, weaving between shields, sensors, and weapons. The Empire's fleet was forced to react constantly, every move countered by ingenuity, anticipation, and fearlessness. Hours passed in tense, silent anticipation. The human ship had not fired its main weapons, yet the Empire's fleet was scattered, disorganized, and unnerved. Every officer knew the truth. Humans were not just survivors. They were masters of unconventional warfare. Vorlax finally spoke, voice calm but dangerous. "This is the unseen tactics of humans. They do not rely on power. They rely on perception, timing, and intelligence. They fight in ways we cannot predict. And this is only the beginning. The human ship paused, drifting near the center of the fleet. It was small, unassuming, yet every officer aboard the dreadnought felt its presence. It radiated confidence, patience, and calculated power. Vorlax leaned over the console, eyes narrowed. We have underestimated them. One ship has turned our fleet into chaos. One ship has rewritten the rules of engagement. And if we do not learn quickly, humans will continue to find the battle on their terms. The stars outside shimmered, indifferent to the battle unfolding. Somewhere, the human ship moved silently, analyzing, calculating, and preparing for the next strike. And the Empire, proud and mighty, realized a terrifying truth. Humans were not just clever, they were unstoppable. In ways no one had ever imagined, the battle had begun. The dreadnought Zirian drifted silently among the stars, its system strained from hours of engagement with a single human ship. Commander Vorlax paced the bridge, claws tapping against the cold metal of the console. Outside, the vastness of space seemed calm, almost indifferent, yet inside the Empire's fleet, chaos had settled like a shadow. Lieutenant Cora stared at the main display, unable to tear her eyes away from the blip of the human ship. They are still moving, she whispered. Even after everything, they are still unscathed. Vorlax did not answer. He had seen enough to understand the terrifying truth. Humans were not reckless. They were calculating, clever, and fearless. Every move they had made so far had exploited the Empire's weaknesses, exposed its rules, and left the fleet scrambling. Admiral Tavrin's antennae twitched in frustration. One ship, he growled, voice tight with anger and disbelief. One small, insignificant human ship, and it has brought our patrol fleet to disarray. How is that possible? Vorlax's eyes were sharp, almost glinting in the dim light of the bridge. Because they do not fight like us, he said quietly. They fight with ingenuity, fearlessness, and the ability to see beyond rules we hold sacred. That is their advantage. The human ship now moved with purpose, drifting silently near the center of the fleet. For hours, it had tested the Empire, probed weaknesses, and manipulated systems, yet had not fired a single destructive weapon. And still, its impact was devastating. Cora's voice trembled. They are teaching us something. Every move, every pulse, every microdrone is like they are showing us what we are missing. Yes, Vorlax said. Humans are rewriting the rules of war, and the Empire has not yet learned them. The human ship released a subtle pulse of energy, not to destroy, but to interfere. Shields flickered across the fleet, engines stuttered, and minor systems failed. Imperial officers scrambled to repair the damage, but every attempt was predicted, countered, and exploited by the human ship. They are everywhere, whispered a junior officer. Every time we think we have them, they move again. They are untouchable. Vorlax's antennae twitched with irritation. They are not untouchable. They are clever. Every action they take exposes weaknesses, teaches lessons, and forces adaptation. That is why one human ship can challenge an entire fleet. Admiral Tavrin's voice was sharp. Prepare the dreadnought for full engagement. We will overwhelm them. Use everything. Shields, weapons, decoys, interceptors. Do not let this human dictate the battle any longer. Vorlax nodded, sending orders across the fleet. The dreadnought's massive plasma turrets bristled. Shield arrays flared, and a swarm of interceptors launched toward the human ship. The Empire had thrown everything it had at a single opponent. But the human ship did not panic. It moved like a shadow, weaving through the chaos with impossible precision. Interceptors collided, shields overloaded, and plasma bolts missed by mere meters. The human ship exploited gravitational anomalies, microasteroids, and energy distortions to evade every attack. They are not just surviving, Cora muttered. They are controlling the battlefield. Yes, Vorlax said grimly. And every time we attack, we reveal more about ourselves. They are learning from us. Every error, every adjustment, they record it, and they will use it against us. The human ship now made a daring maneuver. It split the swarm of interceptors using a clever combination of speed and gravitational pull, causing the ships to scatter and collide. Several minor cruisers were damaged, engines failing, shields flickering. The Empire's fleet was in turmoil. struggling to regain control. Admiral Tavrin's voice was tight with anger. They're impossible. Vorlax's eyes narrowed. No, they are humans. And humans are never impossible. They are unpredictable. That is their strength. The human ship hovered silently for a moment, then released another series of micro-drones. This time, they were larger, more sophisticated, and capable of direct interference with the dreadnought systems. Engines shuddered, shields oscillated, and communication lines flickered with static. They're using our strength against us, Cora whispered. Every weapon we deploy, they manipulate it. Every sensor we use, they deceive us. And we are falling into every trap. Vorlax leaned over the console, eyes sharp. This is why humans are dangerous. Not because they are strong, not because they have advanced weapons. They are dangerous because they think differently. They see patterns we do not see. They exploit every weakness. And they never give up. The human ship now accelerated, moving past the fleet with astonishing speed. It dipped near the edge of the Zephyron cluster, then reappeared above the dreadnought itself. For the first time, the humans engaged directly, but still subtly. They emitted a pulse of energy that temporarily disrupted the dreadnought's weapon systems, causing turrets to misfire and shields to fluctuate. Commander, they are controlling us. Cora exclaimed. It's like they are one step ahead in every move. Yes, Vorlax said quietly, and that is why we are in danger. One ship, no matter how small, can redefine the battle if the opponent is clever enough. Admiral Tavrin slammed his clawed hand onto the console. We cannot let them dictate this. Full power, fire everything. The dreadnought unleashed a torrent of plasma. Interceptors swarmed, and shields flared across the fleet. But the human ship moved like a ghost, slipping between the attacks, exploiting gaps, and forcing the fleet to overextend. Several patrol cruisers were left vulnerable, their systems struggling to recover from the subtle manipulations of the human ship. Vorlax's claws tightened. They are not reckless. They are patient, calculating. And every move teaches them more about us. We must adapt, or we will lose everything. The human ship now moved above the central fleet, releasing another wave of micro-drones. This time, the devices interfere with navigation, weapons, and communication simultaneously, causing panic aboard several Imperial ships. Officers scrambled to regain control, but the human ship had already shifted position, observing and exploiting. They are teaching us a lesson, Cora whispered, and the lesson is terrifying. Yes, Vorlax said, eyes narrowing. The lesson is simple. Never underestimate humans. They do not fight like us. They fight differently. And that difference makes them deadly. Hours passed. The human ship had not unleashed its full weapons, yet the Empire's patrol fleet was in chaos. Every officer knew the truth. Humans were not just clever. They were unstoppable in ways the Empire had never imagined. Finally, the human ship paused, hovering silently above the fleet. It did not attack. It did not retreat. It simply waited, observing, analyzing, and calculating. Every officer aboard the dreadnought felt the weight of its presence. Vorlax spoke, voice low and tense. We have underestimated them. One ship, and yet it has brought our fleet to disarray. Imagine if there were more. If humans fight together, the Empire may face a challenge unlike any before. Cora's eyes widened. This is a species we cannot predict. One step, one thought, and they change the battlefield entirely. Yes, Vorlax said quietly. And now we know, humans are not just survivors. They are strategists, improvisers, and fearless. They are the unexpected. The human ship now moves slowly, almost deliberately, drifting toward the edge of the Zephyron cluster. The Empire's fleet struggled to regroup, shields rebalanced, and weapons recalibrated. But the impact of a single human ship was undeniable. One vessel had rewritten the rules of engagement. Admiral Tavrin's voice was quiet, tinged with awe and fear. They are humans, and they are unlike anything we have ever faced. Vorlax leaned over the console, eyes fixed on the retreating ship. This is not the end. It is only the beginning. Humans have shown their power, their cunning, and their fearlessness. And the Empire will never be the same. The stars outside shimmered, indifferent to the chaos and awe unfolding within the fleet. Somewhere, the human ship drifted silently, victorious without firing its main weapons, and fully aware of the Empire's weaknesses. Vorlax whispered to himself, voice barely audible over the hum of the dreadnought. This changes everything, and the humans are only getting started. A hush fell over the bridge. The Empire had faced countless threats before, rebels, rogue fleets, even hostile alien species, but nothing like this. One human ship had shaken the foundations of the Empire, forced it to rethink strategy, and revealed a truth none were prepared to accept. Humans were not just clever, they were unstoppable. And somewhere, far in the void of space, the human ship continued its silent journey, leaving the Empire to wonder what next.